Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome to Inspire. I am your host, Shaw Hayes. I am so happy and glad that it's Friday Eve. I know sometimes these days are running into each other, so every day seems like a Friday or Sunday. But for me, it's an amazing day on Thursday that we are going to be joined here by DJ Taj. He is an amazing young, up and coming, got things all over YouTube and Instagram. I was listening to one of his mix earlier. He's part of the Heavy Hitters DJ. He's on a show that's coming up that he's going to tell us all about his journey. He's just getting started out. He's the son of a well-renowned DJ Antoine Qua, but we're glad to have him here. Our founder and producer, Kiana Tennant, is here with us too. We're going to talk with his journeys and about his journey and becoming a DJ and what he has planned for the future. Without further ado, let's welcome DJ Taj. Hey, I see you're on mute. Making these business calls. You can tell when you get a watch call.
There we go. How y'all doing?
What's good? How are you?
I'm good. I was getting calls at the same time while y'all was talking. I'm like, hold on, I'm doing the interview.
That's what's up. That's why they made these phones. Inspector Gadget is probably a little bit before your age, but when I think about the fact we can talk into our watch is like a phenomenal thing. Because as a child, we had a cartoons and they was doing it 30 years ago when people was like, and now it's like literally I'm talking to my watch and nobody cares anymore. So,
hey, quick question for y'all. For some reason, it's like I'm hearing like a glitchy noise on y'all end. Are y'all getting that same noise or just me?
It's probably because you're the iPad thing, but because there's a software issue with probably iPad products that StreamYard hasn't gotten around. So if you want to try to log onto
there you go. You back. We good now. We good.
You hear it? Okay, good. All right. All right, perfect. Well, I must say, I know we had an issue with the iPhone when it ran through the whole time, but we want to make sure your sound quality is perfect. So
we're straight. We good to go now.
So nephew, I just want to say thank you for being a part of the show. And I asked you last year, and you was like, I'm on it.
Months ago. Yep. I'm gonna let y'all both know that I'm a fan of the show. I've been watching, like, I've been in the cut watching every episode to see how things are going. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like to hear that because I always say when people see content like this, they're like, oh, okay, I'll catch you later. And that's always good because, we want people to be on it live, but it's good that we can have it up there so people can see. Now we'll learn about your journey so people can know how to get started and what you have done to kind of pave a way for yourself.
Right.
So starting with that, when you being a son of someone who's a, world-renowned DJ, was following your footsteps something you just had in your mind as a child, or did you want to do something else?
It's funny because I was kind of in a way born into it. Meaning that when I was before I even know how to talk, I probably was about 3 or 4. My father always had me holding me and making me use the turntable scratching. So before I even know how to talk, I was already like learning about the DJ equipment. By the time I was 5 years old, I had my first party.
Wow. That's amazing.
I had to stand on top of crates just to DJ.
And because at 5 years old, at that point, because I have little kids and they're in tune with music. My son literally comes and requests at 3 years old, "This is America" every day.
Right.
So you were already in tune with what people wanted, because at that age, music is like the backdrop of your life. It's like probably secondary to playing your toys. So how did you kind of create a mix? Was it just because you listened to what your father told you to do, or just instinctively know?
I think for me, me watching my father, I kind of I end up learning almost every genre of music. Just a simple fact, because he's been doing radio forever, and that's his hobby. That's all he do is DJ. So before I knew how to DJ, I would just always watch him. And that's kind of how I started learning different kinds of music, different sounds. And as internet started to come about, like little years later, I started to like really get a chance to hear other genres of music that certain areas don't really know yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was hearing stuff in the pop world. I started listening to EDM music. I started listening to people from the UK. So I was getting in tune with like different nationalities and different ethnics of just music in general.
And how important is that to kind of know all of that? Because a lot of times you may think that as a DJ, you may say in one genre of music and you don't think about crossing and blending. How important is it to know that?
It's super important. The one reason a lot of DJs mess up is that they stick in a box what they used to. So let's say, for example, if someone is from let's say Newark, New Jersey, right? People in Newark, New Jersey, a lot of DJs just play what Newark, New Jersey want to hear. So when they end up getting booked somewhere else, maybe in Miami or Texas or something, or Atlanta, say Atlanta, is a whole different vibe of music. So if you only playing the stuff that's known here, by the time you go somewhere else, you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be playing what's hot here, but the crowd, they're gonna be looking at you like, okay, we know that song, but play some of our music now.
Right.
So I always tell DJs it's important to learn all types of music. So this way, and it increases your money because now you can take all kind of bookings as well.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that portion of it. Like when you are getting to the point where you established your own self, how did you start getting your own? Was it just maybe putting yourself out there and going to like birthday parties, and from there people started requesting you?
Well, what's a funny story with me is that I didn't get known for DJing. I got known for being a producer.
Okay.
So what a lot of, like, the world don't even know. Most of the world don't even know I DJ. They just know me as making music. But that's actually my first hobby, DJing. I just happen to get known for making remixes and doing songs for artists. You get what I'm saying? So that was always a funny story for me. But yeah, that's basically how it went for me. I got known through social media. A few years back, there was an app called Vine. I don't know if you ever heard of Vine.
Yes.
So when Vine first came out, I was one of the first people that had the biggest songs on the app. So that's what got my name to start being known outside of just Jersey. So all the kids, like how they got the app TikTok now.
Yeah.
Vine was the TikTok like years ago. You get what I'm saying? So how the same way the kids dancing to TikTok now, they were dancing to Vine. I had the hottest songs on Vine at one point. So that's what got my name further out there.
And when you say your own song, what are these songs that are remixes that you make from off of covers, or your original songs that you have on there?
So both. So what happened is my first biggest song that went like viral to the fact that I was able to travel out of state and everyone knew the song was a Vine remix. So there was a girl named Tony Remedy that did a video on Vine. She just was talking, and her video was getting like a lot of views. And once I seen a reaction of everybody like listening to her video and laughing at it, I took her voice and made it into a song. And then from there, that song ended up blowing up and took over the whole app.
And that's such a and I guess in terms of the ingeniousness of that, the same way how the girl who came up with "You're Gonna Lose Your Job" and that became a viral sensation.
Yeah.
So I guess probably go into like almost the science of like figuring out when you see stuff like that, knowing to hop on it and then create a mix. Like you just searching the internet, are you going to certain sites and then doing that as well?
Yeah. So the way I do things is the second I see something, like I feel like nowadays I'm a little different, but a few years back, the second I would hear something that's viral or I see something that was like really trending, I would instantly jump on it and just remix it and make it to a song. And that's when I started building my fan base, because it's not that everybody knew DJ Taj, they just knew the original video. And then they would laugh and started liking them because I made it into an actual song.
And the visual component added an element to it too, because they were able to see from it that video they was constantly looking and laughing at, and you now added a remix to it that they was constantly looking at it and sharing it.
That's like years ago. Shirley Caesar came out with the
Beans.
I took her voice and made it into a song, and it went crazy. It went viral.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's good insight, because I mean, when I hear that, I just always think it's like somebody joking around with it. But from that, the young boy who did "I Want to Live," like all of those things became and grow in popularity just from someone seeing it and realizing, oh, wait a minute. And now all of a sudden becomes a viral thing that your name is attached to as a producer or a DJ, however you want to see it. So are you still in the studio making beats for artists right now?
Oh, definitely. I'm in the studio weekly. So right now I mostly do songs because I make music, and I'm also on the radio as well. So I do mixed weekends on Hot 97 in New York City, and also Power 99 in Philadelphia. So I'm in Shade 45 as well, which is Eminem's radio station. So, I'm managing doing radio and also making remixes for like Atlantic Records, Warner Brothers, like all the labels actually.
Oh wow.
So that's like my 9-to-5 job. So every week I get a new contract from a certain label, and like let's say if it's a new artist that they're about to push, they would send me the song and want me to either produce the song for them, or they'd send me for me to remix it to make the kids like it, be to dance to it.
Right. So then we request, so who is this? And then all you're doing is like, basically you're breaking artists. And that's kind of like what happened before when they would come up to the record labels or come up to the radio stations with the vinyls saying, can you play my song? And now on the other side, you're the DJ that record labels now want to push their artists to. Well, that's good to know. So because
that's the new way to break the music is social media. Like you said, like back in the day, it was like, even with radio, like back in the day, you had to go to hear your song on the radio in order for it to like get broken, or like TV. Now it's like you really technically don't really need radio or TV. It's just like as long as you get the song hot and familiar online, then it's like it's gonna get viral everywhere.
So Taj, how do you manage, the many hats that you have?
I don't know. If I see something that I like, I just grab it. I just buy it. And sometimes it's like nowadays, a lot of times, like a lot of companies just send stuff to me. So they be want me like to wear like the clothing, and I love clothes, so I just wear everybody's stuff.
Okay.
Rather than a shirt, even this like Dub Smash, which is another big app like TikTok, they sent this to me this week.
Okay,
I got it on. I just like it, so I just wear it.
Well, you have an Inspire shirt on the way, so
I need that. I need that.
I got you. Every color.
I would definitely rock it every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sha.
But even with that, you have a lot going on. So how do you create a balance in your life so that you're giving yourself some time for you?
I feel like what I do is to me is fun. So I don't look at nothing I do as a job. I think that's probably why I don't always feel like I gotta make a balance, because it's just like what I would do anyway. If I had to make time just for me, I would still be sitting on my laptop or thinking of a song or make DJing. Like I do what I love to do. So I don't really look at it as a job that I have to make time for myself. Because to me, I make time for myself all day long.
Yeah. Well, they always say if you do something you love, it never feels like work. So you don't never feel like you need a break from it.
Perfect example is that. Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you said you deal with record labels when it comes down to breaking an artist. What if an independent artist wanted to connect to you in terms of getting their song, put out there? Do you build relationships with people, or can people just reach out to you?
I did a lot of remixes for like independent artists, especially like if it's a song that I actually like. So if an artist send me a message or through Instagram or something, and I hear the song, I would It's funny while we talking, Interscope Records is texting me right now as we speak.
Wow.
Yep. But so what I'll do for artists, I will usually hear the song first before I respond back to them. So depending on the vibe of the song, if I really like it, then I'll write right back to them and say, this is a dope song. Send me the acapella or instrumental. And 99% of the time I show love and just remix it for them.
That's awesome. It just popped in my brain. So many of the hats that I've worn in my life, which is doing artist showcase. And under this pandemic, people don't have places to perform. I would love, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, for us to do a virtual showcase on Inspire. Would you be willing to do that?
Dope. Yeah. Since quarantine started, I've been thinking about something like that, because I did a lot of interviews on stuff like virtual, and I did maybe one party through virtual. I was on probably for like 20 minutes, but that's something I was thinking about. Yeah, I'd definitely love to be a part of something like that.
Well, that would be great. We can do like a casting call, tell everybody to submit this stuff, come on in, got to be clean, and then you listen to it, give a little bit of feedback and roll with it. Because I always say that that's the biggest thing that people miss out on as far as getting in the industry, is getting feedback and be able to connect to somebody who can tell them what should be, shouldn't be, how to position yourself. Because although YouTube's out there, people still don't know how to grow that audience. They don't know how to create the platform so that they now have 300,000 subscribers and people sharing it. So, we can work on that. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but
no, as easy as people, it's like the way the world is right now, everything is easy and hard at the same time. Because it's so easy to make a lot of money nowadays. Anybody can be a millionaire, but it's also hard to know how to get to that. Get to that money. You get what I'm saying? Before it was like, even with being a celebrity, before we knew the celebrities, like celebrities was on TV, you was hearing them on the radio. And now it's like people becoming superstars overnight. Just
they are.
You look at your phone and the person face by the next day. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So Yeah, I feel like nowadays everything is just so different now, so it's more easier. And I also love teaching people the little tricks of how to get to like certain money that they want or views, whatever they aiming for.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, as easy as everything looks, it is hard too at the same time
right.
still.
You
So
definitely can teach a master class, that's for sure. Go, no, I was just saying he definitely could teach a master class, that's for sure.
So how did you get your start on Hot 97?
You know, what's funny about that, see, my dad always been on, let's go back like 10, 12 years ago. My father was doing Kiss FM, 98.7 Kiss FM. And Kiss FM was always Hot 97 sister station. So when you go there, it's the same, it's just 2 rooms. It's like living in your house.
Yeah.
Your room and a room, they right next door to each other.
Yeah.
So Kiss FM is now BLS now. So where Kiss FM used to be, that's WBLS. So I grew up there. I grew up. They watch everyone at 107 watched me grow up since I was probably like 7 years old, 6 years old. So all of them knew me already. My first time getting on 107 was my father got me on with Funk Flex and Mr. C. Flex and Mr. C put me on the radio at 11 years old. And Flex let me do a special guest show on his slot at 9 p.m. on a Thursday night. That was like years ago. And years later, you know, DJ Nuff decided to bring me in and made me a heavy hitter. And once I became a heavy hitter, Enough started putting me on more mixed weekends for Hot 97, allowing me to do more guest slots on the station. And that's how I ended up getting on Hot 97.
Wow. Yeah, you've been there quite a while now.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know. It's just the fact that I grew up there. That's why I just been so long.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so what does it mean to be a part of heavy hitters? Like what for someone who may not notice us coming from, you know, Uganda or somewhere, what is heavy hitters and what does that mean?
So heavy hitters is a DJ team. The most famous DJ team in the world is all like the biggest DJs inside the team. So like most of the big radio DJs on radio is a heavy hitter. A lot of big record label execs that work for all the labels, the bosses, they're heavy hitters. And it's just a team of people that's just like creative and talented. Mostly everybody started off as DJs, even down to the label reps. You know, they're not DJs no more, but a lot of them was DJs during their time years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like nowadays, not even nowadays, but even before I got in, heavy hitters is not really a team. It's more like a family type of, like a brotherhood, sisterhood type of thing.
So is the management a part of it? Like, does anyone there manage you, or do you have like a separate manager from what you do?
Me, I have a separate manager. We do have managers inside the team. Some people's in the heavy hitters for different reasons. I'm in the heavy hitters as just a DJ in the team, like just a team player. So I represent the team. They get a lot of like big connections for me, and vice versa. So I feel like heavy hitters is more like a sorority, put it that way.
Okay.
Like no one's signed to a sorority. It's just, you know, it's a brother sisterhood type of thing. It's just like a family.
Got it. Okay. So it's not a business. So nobody pass out W-2s. Y'all just you just have a name.
Unless you're doing a certain project for something. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, that's so, like inspired.
Yes, we're family. So that's what we just did last week. So when you think about in terms of, you know, how your father started out having actual vinyls, and you still had a window into that, but now with technology being the way it is, you know, how are you keeping up with that? How has it made it simpler for you to be able to DJ knowing that you don't have to carry crates of vinyls all around with you?
I mean, it's definitely real simple nowadays. Luckily for me, like I got the chance to experience all the levels of the DJing. Because when I first started, my father had me DJing on 1200s techniques, which is the turntable records. Yeah. So I was able to know the experience of DJing with vinyl and knowing, you know, carrying crates. So I experienced that. I experienced playing with CDs, DJing with CDs and all. And now in today's world, it's just laptops and like, you know, things like that. So I got a chance to experience all eras of it. The only thing I didn't experience, I don't know if my dad even experienced it, is DJing with cassettes, like tapes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure.
I don't know how nobody would do that.
DJ. He been DJing forever. So most likely he did it. But that's the only thing that I never experienced with DJ with cassettes.
if he didn't do it by DJ, he made a girl a cassette tape. Everybody was making their girlfriends a cassette tape with love songs on it.
Most likely. Yeah, probably made my mom want to know her because she loved old school stuff like that. So most likely she probably had one.
She probably has one. So what's one of the most challenging parts of your career?
I think not being able to always help everybody because everybody depending on you. So sometimes you do, and I help everybody up as much as I could, but I think that sometimes you can't help everybody. And that's probably the most worst thing for me, only not because I can't do it, but because the reaction that the people give when I can't do it.
Okay.
It's like people expect you to do it for them or have to do it or be able to do something for them. So that's the only thing that just annoys me is that part. But other than that, I don't really consider anything like really too much challenging. It's just really just helping other people. I love to be able to help people. So sometimes when I can't do it, they're like, dang, I wish I was able to make that happen for them. But
you sound like your father. He said the same
thing. Yeah.
He said the same thing. Yep.
I'm mad I missed your episode with him too. I wanted to watch that night too.
Well, you gotta go back and watch it if you didn't watch it yet.
I gotta go back and watch that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
A lot of times you get your head about what he said versus what you're gonna say for yourself. So that's good. But
I forgot. Did you ask him? I mean, before, I guess growing up, you started at such a young age. Did you have any other passions other than DJing, or were you did?
Yeah,
okay. No, I was just curious. Like, because you were just consumed with DJing, did you want to play basketball or any other things or into anything else?
What's funny is, because I grew up in Irvington, New Jersey. So growing up in Irvington, all the kids in my household and like all my friends would come down the block and we'd all be outside playing basketball. All my friends in school, they always on basketball teams and football teams, like all athlete type of teams and stuff. But I was always the only friend that didn't join no team because when it was time for them to go to practice, though, I was going home on a computer or DJing. So like that became my sport. But I love playing basketball, like street basketball, like just outside the house. I always had a basketball court at my house. But yeah, I never actually joined the team. So I don't want to say I had like another idea of another hobby I wanted to do. But I love playing basketball.
Okay.
Yep.
So what are some of your goals? Like, you're so young. I mean, I know there has to be other things that you want to accomplish in your life. So if you have a to-do list, what are you checking off on your to-do list or want to do?
I think definitely one of my goals is to be able to sign some artists and like actually sign artists and push artists to blow up. Because a lot of times I help a lot of artists, but I don't like do paperwork with all of them. I just help them. So one of my goals for this year is for 2021 in general is to take an artist myself and sign them and then blow them up. So now I'm actually a part of their career as well.
Now, would you do that in the partnership? Have you reached out some of the labels that you work with and asked them, can we get a label started on the DJ Taj label, whatever your label name would be? Or would you do it separate from a major label?
For now, I think I'll do it separate and just like blow the artists up through internet first. Just the simple fact is just like nowadays it's like labels want you more when you lit already.
Yeah.
Like when you got the fan base and you're already going, that's when they want you. Right now, if I was even though they got love for me, if I was to go to any label right now and say, yo, I got this artist I want to push, they're gonna say, it's gonna be like a little iffy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. And I understand it though. Like they gotta make sure they're making any money. So I want to make sure I push artists to get them to where they need to be so they can get what they deserve from the labels.
And what's so great about that? It's so great about that you're saying that, because I know oftentimes we've had people on here in the industry and I've asked the question of, there was a time where you didn't have to have a full package because they had artist development that will kind of groom you. Now you have to have the full package and be the it factor. To you, what does that look like? What does that look like in terms of having a checklist of all the things they need, not before they come to you, but in order for you to go to the actual record label? What would you need to see from them in order to take them to a record label?
Well, with me, I mean, I would definitely prefer if they did have a fan base. That would be great. But for me, I'm not looking that's not like a mandatory thing. You have to have a fan base right now. Like I want to help people build their fan base. So like what you just said, like that's correct. Nowadays the labels they had development management before back in the day. They don't have stuff like that now. They only want to just get to people that's already hot. So I want to be that developer, like to help develop that in certain artists. If I really think like they got it, or I feel like maybe they have the looks, or not even the looks, maybe they have the talent, the voice, whatever it is. If I really think that there's something in them that I could see, that I could put my connections in, or whatever it is, get my investors to want to invest in them, what I'll do is build them up myself, build their fan bases up, you know, and start trying to aim for like radio play. Maybe I got to get some of the support from my DJs and ask them to start playing certain things on the radio. From there, then we'll go ahead and, you know, go to the labels. Once we have that already built, the labels is easy. The label part is easy. It's just the hardest part is just getting that artist to be known or have some type of fan base.
Well, that's why we need this showcase.
yeah, we definitely should do it. Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. But when you think about in terms of like the artists that are out there now, music wise, you know, I listen to house music. Like I'm from DC, and there's a different genre when you go to, like you said, from Atlanta to DC to LA. Like, are you blending from all different regions, or mostly like you take like hip hop, the pop to reggae? Is that how you look at it, or do you do regional mixes into your music?
So because the phone was going out just now. So are you asking? Well,
you know how mostly music is like mixed based on genre, like rap or R&B or reggae. When you go into certain regions, are the way you mix songs different if you were in Atlanta versus if you were back in Jersey?
Oh, are the songs different?
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, honestly, it's yes and no. The reason why it's yes and no because certain nationalities want certain kind of music, but nowadays it's like when I go certain, like for example, if I go to Miami or go to LA, it's like I feel like the music now is always the same now. Before, I feel like years ago, every state had their own kind of music. So it's like the East Coast had their sound, the West Coast had their sound, the South had their sound. But now everybody's like listening to like almost like the same thing. Like if, for example, Drake, whatever song that's Drake has hot here in Jersey, that same song is hot in LA, California. So I usually don't have to run into that issue. Like the songs are just hot in general everywhere. The only thing I could say about Atlanta or like the South in general, they listen to our music, but they also do have like their own artists that they listen to as well. They might be on yet up down this way.
That's true.
Yep. So I want to do like a fan check-in for a minute.
Okay.
In our following us right now, we have Colin. He said sending love from Carolina. We have Lunac. She says she loves Taj the Genius.
Appreciate it.
We also have Monique on the line. She sends a lot of love and hearts your way.
I love both of them too.
Tawanda. He said, woohoo, you go, Taj. You're such an inspiration and keep pressing forward.
Appreciate that.
And Monique also says Taj Lounge on the West Coast after the pandemic. That sounds something.
We definitely going to the West Coast for sure.
We do have a question though from I Am Lunac. She says, what advice do you have for a young person trying to break into music that doesn't have a huge fan base?
Honestly, I feel like advice for a young person that's trying to break into the music business and that don't have no type of fan base, you know, sometimes you got to just put your music out and make your own type of challenge. Like you got to make your own wave. I always tell like a lot of artists, and this is how a lot of these artists blow up now, like the younger artists. What they do is they have a song and then they make like their brothers or sisters or cousins make like a dance to it. Nowadays, the easiest way to get a song hot is to have a dance to it. So if your song have like a specific routine to that song and you post that video online, somebody else is going to want to copy that same routine, and then another person will copy. And before you know it, it's like during a few weeks, everyone is just dancing to that same routine. That's the easiest way to me from what I see.
So you got to have some creativity and some dance moves at the same time.
Yeah, and that's the same advice to go for the biggest artists too. I was on the phone. I was talking to Trey Songz recently on the phone, And that was one thing that I was even, me and him was talking about, because he got a lot of songs. Trey Songz is a huge superstar, but Trey, right now he's trying to make sure he get a song out that the kids can make a challenge to as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which is super smart, because once you get a song that the kids dance to, you're gonna start getting your streams all the way up. You know what I mean? It comes a radio play. Which is why this girl named Megan Thee Stallion is so hot, because she got like all the hottest songs that the kids dance to on TikTok.
Absolutely, yeah.
Every song that she makes is a challenge.
You see an animated doll dancing to her body song, and you're like, oh.
Exactly, and everyone knows it. Like, and the funny thing is, you could be in an older generation and still know Megan Thee Stallion through your kids, because your kids listen to it. You get what I'm saying?
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
That's true.
And all
more
the
fans out here watching the show. We have Ricky. He says, my brother's up here live, so he's happy to see you on here. And he said,
that's my bro, Hype Man Ricky. Yep.
Yeah, he said, how have you influenced Hype Man Ricky to be one of the best DJs in New Jersey? So how did you influence him?
You're right.
Hype Man Ricky is a great DJ in general. He's a guy from Paterson, New Jersey. He done pushed a lot of artists like Fetty Wap, so like a lot of like the big Paterson artists. He was like one of the people that helped to bring their sounds out there. So he has his own thing going on, man. So I always salute the Hype Man Ricky in general.
Well, let me ask you that question in terms of being a DJ before we get. Was that another question?
No, we have a couple more. Yeah. I just want to mention I Am Lunac. She's about to create a song for God is Great Apparel. So we're excited about that. Lunac, we got to have you on the show. We would love to have you here talking about your God is Great Apparel. It's awesome. And if you don't have your apparel yet, go to Livingston Mall and pick it up. And then again, we have some others. We have Tawanda. She said some great advice. Monique said, keep winning. She's so proud of you. And Lunac, thank you. She said she loves the show. And Lunac, we look forward to having you on the show as well.
That's going to be dope when Lunac come up. I'm going to be watching that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep.
But I was going to just ask in terms of, since people still listen to the radio, but we know that's kind of like, as much a generation that does mostly as opposed to other streaming platforms. When you have an artist that you're putting out there, where are you mostly landing that music? Is it YouTube? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram?
Well, as of right now, for the most part, that I collaborate with my team, with my heavy hitter team on that. So what happens is we all get together and think what song that we like. If it's a song we want to push, it don't got to be coming from me. It could be coming from anybody, like one of them. First of all, there's over 90 people inside the heavy hitters, right?
Oh, okay.
So we all in a big group chat, and we all do like these Zoom meetings every like 2-3 weeks. We're like all get on Zoom at one time and just talk. And like if there's a specific song that someone wants to really push and promote, then we all get behind it. Like I said, most of the DJs is on like the biggest radio station, so that helps right there. So what happens is when we have a song we want to push, we all send it to each other, make sure we send the clean versions, and then all of us promote that song for like that 2-3 weeks on the radio. And that's usually how we get like a lot of the artists like songs to stream good from there. So and then for me, after the song get familiar on radio, I start going on social media. I might drop a remix to it just to get like a little challenge going on TikTok or whatever it is, Instagram. And from there, that just built like the social media numbers up. Meanwhile, all that combined, all that promotion starts to bring numbers into like Spotify, Apple Music. And that's all coming from cross promotion from all these different things, all these different outlets.
So it's all of it together, not just one aspect.
All of it.
Okay.
So if somebody has a song and they're interested in getting it played, is there like some type of dollar amount that he need to be prepared to spend in order to get their music out there?
The dollar amount is what they want to spend on their own selves. I always tell people, you don't really want to make it unless you're ready to invest in your own self. And in an investment, you got to be willing to invest in your own self. So meaning I'm not necessarily saying you got to pay me or pay none of my team members. That's saying that if you want to get a song, maybe Facebook, for example, Facebook has a thing called, I'm sure you guys know about it, the promotion thing that you could get videos promoted through Facebook, through Instagram. All that is a part of an investment to get whatever your brand is. It don't got to be about music. It can be about your company, whatever.
Right.
So I always tell people, you know, if you really want to make it or something, whatever the situation is, make sure you're ready to invest in yourself. I always invest in myself. You can't expect handouts.
Right.
It's always good when somebody do show you the love and get the handout for you, but you can't expect it, and you can't get mad when that person can't give you the handout.
Right.
They're perfect example. Like a lot of artists, they would think because somebody's on the radio that they just allowed just to play any song on the radio. So they go to a DJ or go to a radio personality and say, hey, can you, like, for example, people go to my father all the time to play their songs on the BBLS. He can't just play anybody's songs, even though he has his own radio show. It's illegal just to play a song without getting consent from the bosses, from the program directors and the music directors. You know what I'm saying? So there's levels to everything. So we can't just play on the radio. We can't just play your song. We got to get permission, because then we get in trouble. We just play any song on the radio.
It's called payola. It's a whole word for it.
Especially with paying. A lot of people do that too. They be trying to say, well, how much is to get us on radio? Can't accept a penny from you. That's why I always say we just show the love, because we don't take money from people to play the music. We just, if we like it, we support it.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people think, that you can just walk up to somebody and like, play my song, and that's gonna be the end of it. Like, no, it doesn't work. If you have your own entity, like on YouTube or something, that's different. But on the radio is different. Yeah. Completely different.
If it's your own platform like Instagram or something, and you want to promote that person or charge them to make a video dancing to it, you can do that. But as far as like radio and TV go, you can't just expect one of those people just to play your stuff just because you might know them or something.
So talk about using getting on YouTube. People always are worrying about having followers and getting the followers, because like you said, the numbers to a record label translate to fan base, and that translates to people buying their products. You know, can you kind of break down, without going into the mad science of bringing in your numbers, or what that looks like to start bringing in people wanting to watch it? Is it adding a video at a certain time? Is it, what do you do to kind of give like a small formula to kind of get people attention?
Well, and this for anything. This is for music. This is for whatever content you're trying to post. In order to draw any attention for anything you're trying to post, it's two things. The one, how you title it. That's the first thing. People go by what they see in the title, because sometimes, let's say you're on Instagram, you might come across something, depending what the title say, it make you want to say, oh, what's this? You get what I'm saying? But if it just say, like, for example, I see right here, it says inspired with DJ Taj, right? Somebody like that would just be reading it. Maybe they say, oh, DJ Taj, let me see that. But if it just said interview, they might say, oh, keep going.
Right, keep going.
You get what I'm saying? It's about how you title it. And also with YouTube is about this thing called thumbnails, which is like the picture that you see before you actually play the video. Sometimes you have to put like a real nice thumbnail, like an interesting thumbnail that would make the viewer see it. Even without reading the title, they can say, oh, look at that picture. What's that? Let me click on it. What I used to do when I first was trying to get my music known, I would always, like, if I was reading this like a Beyonce song, I would put a picture of Beyonce as the cover. Instead of putting my face, I put Beyonce face. And I would draw and I would put Beyonce / whatever the name of the song, then DJ Taj remix. That's how I used to name all my stuff. And that drew all like the views and listeners to my songs, because they would be searching Beyonce up and then find my stuff. And before I knew it, they started following me, because they was like, oh, he dope. Let me see what else he got. And that's how you build your fan base up.
So insightful, you. So very good. I mean, I noticed about, I want you to educate others, but how much of your tags was important for you? Did you do tags at all?
Oh, like the hashtags? Oh, hashtags still today, they play a big part for everybody, because let's say something happens, right? Or let's say Beyonce fall down the stairs or something. You can, if you put hashtag Beyonce fall or something, there's millions of people searching her up falling. So anything with that hashtag is going to bring attention to your content. You know what I'm saying? So the hashtags is always important. It's been like that for years. It's still like that now. If your hashtag is not on point, you're going to lose listeners, because now there's a lot of people that's missing out on that content.
And it goes even for a new artist. Like, you can't just do R&B music, singer, songwriter. That's too generic. It has to be something more specific, so that's going to draw somebody in. So whether
you just said, it gotta be, if you're a singer, put hashtag Chris Brown, put hashtag Trey Songz, hashtag Beyonce. whatever it is. Like if I was a singer, I would put every single singer in the world.
That's
I'll
trending
put
right now.
Franklin, I'll put everybody. So I can get all the listeners.
That is hilarious, but it's so true though, and it's the basis of things that people don't understand, because they think that I'm gonna put it up and it just goes viral by tomorrow, and that's not how it works. There's kind of like a science to it for sure. So, and then we have Jahan saying your hashtags on IG should be at minimum of 30 with SEO, and that's an advanced class. You got to know about the SEO, and if you don't know that, that's too much time to go into. But yeah,
right.
You have to know that portion of it. But a lot of times. And that goes back to your point about investment, not only the monetary, because even if you're working at a fast food restaurant, you got to be able to set aside a certain amount of money that you say I'm going to invest into myself, as well as researching. Like that's a big proponent of it, like being able to know those little things in order to be able to advance where you want to go in your career. So that takes so did you set a budget for yourself? Did you say, all right, of course you're coming into this having a little bit of a support system. But did you say to yourself, this is what if you were giving advice to somebody, what would you tell them a budget they would need to look into as far as investing into themselves?
It could be the smallest budget possible. Like for me, I can't really say I ever thought about a budget, but what I could say is something as little as $2 could bring you a long ways to social media. Because what happens is to this day, a lot of times I get videos promoting my own self. So what I do is I go to Facebook, I'll upload my content, whether it's a song, a video, flyer, whatever I'm trying to promote. And then I just click the little blue button that says promotion. You click on that. You can put like $2 in. $2 will actually draw a lot of people to you. But again, it also narrows back down to how you titled it. Because, that $2 could either be 3 people watched it or it could be 30,000 people watched it, depending on how you titled it and your thumbnail and your hashtags and stuff. So with me, I make sure anytime I'm going to pay for any type of promotion, I make sure it's titled A1. I make sure the picture's A1. Everything about it is just good that will make somebody want to press on it and see what it's about. So I don't really think it's like an exact budget. It's just the smallest budget to the highest budget. It's just you got to make sure your content is on point.
Right. The people want to actually watch it. Right. So when you think about all the people you have as far as a team and your father being one of the persons who inspire you, who else in your life you draw inspiration from, whether it's an athlete, anybody in your life or around you that you know or don't know, have you been able to get inspiration from?
Honestly, I get inspiration from like a lot of people. Just it could be somebody like I just YouTube and just found on YouTube an hour ago. Like I like to get motivated by like seeing people success. So like a lot of times I'll watch videos and I'll see like a vlog of somebody and see how they living or see how they made it or see the struggle, how they came up. And it just always motivate me to either want to do more or say, dang, I need to do what he doing or do what she doing or try to do that. So I get inspiration from anybody, to be honest with you. My father was always my first inspiration because obviously he taught me everything I know. And I had to watch him to learn what I know. And from there, like I said, I can't really say that a certain celebrity or a family member inspired me. After that, I just get inspired just by what I see online and see sometimes face to face. If I go to a show and watch a DJ live on stage, I love watching other people perform. Even I'm not a rapper or nothing, but even when I go to like a Drake concert, right? I watch Drake and see how he control the audience. It inspires me to be like, that's how I need to come out on my next set as a DJ. I want to be just like that. And that happened to me a lot of times. So I get inspired by different people.
And so not being a person who's in front and holding a mic, what is it that you look for when you're thinking about that and how to translate that so you can captivate an audience that way? What is it that you see about Drake that you say, okay, let me draw from that so I can pull in that same kind of energy from a crowd?
Well, one thing that I learned that he does, and that's funny because I was always doing this too, and it was just always dope to see like I must be doing something right to see he doing the same thing. It was like when I go to a Drake concert, I see how he comes out, and it's always like he gives people up. It's just like he have somebody open up for him, right? And then he have like an intro. So like it was like a countdown, like how you guys just did a countdown when we first came live. That something like that, like actually hypes people up. You know what I'm saying? especially at a show like live, when you see them countdowns, because it just makes people want to just start screaming because you don't even know if the person's gonna be good or not, but it's gonna be something. You know what I'm saying?
The anticipation, yeah.
Yeah. So me watching that always made me want to start building some type of reaction before I came out. So what I started doing is years ago, I had my friends, like my friend DJ D-Mac. I made him like my open up DJ. So what happens is when we go to shows, we go to parties, he would come on right before me, like even 5 minutes before I get on, and just DJ. And he started like he'd big me up, shout me out. DJ Taj in the building. So even people who don't even know who I am, they start getting hyped because they just like, well, who does
everybody else is?
Everybody else, exactly.
He excited.
Right. Yeah. So when they see 3 people on there going crazy, it makes them start going crazy. So by the time now I come out, they say, make some noise, DJ Taj in the building. Everybody starts screaming. It's just like you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times when that didn't happen, when I didn't have somebody announce me before I come out, I just come out and there's no reaction. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
but how does that make you feel though? Because I was watching, going through your page, and I saw that you were somewhere, and it was actually somebody like fanning out. You were at a school, and people like losing their mind. There was a time that the DJs was just in the background; they weren't the forefront. How does that make you feel, knowing that people feel that way and connected to you and for what you're doing? It's just not just playing music, because you are the person that brings the energy out of everybody. How does that make you feel, knowing that people feel that way about you?
It's still crazy because it's funny because a lot of people that I meet, especially before quarantine happened, like when I was able to actually be hugging people and all that, it's always crazy seeing their reaction because I see people be nervous, right? And they all know I be nervous to see how they gonna react to me.
Yeah.
so it's like we both nervous in the way, because they don't know. I mean, I try not to show it, but I'll be just as nervous as everybody that I meet, because sometimes you don't know if you're gonna go into a crowd that might boo you. There's sometimes you'll get a funny crowd that want to be funny. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for me, that never happened, but it's possible. Like, it happens to different people. It happens all the time to people at the most unexpected time. But for me, I get just as nervous as everybody else get nervous.
So, Taj, was there a particular artist that you met for the first time that you were totally just speechless, maybe?
People always ask me that. I honestly, me being honest, no. But there was only one person that just gave me like some type of vibe that like, damn, I'm really, in the room with this person, was Tito Jackson. Yeah, I had met Tito because I used to do Wendy Williams' show. I used to DJ her TV show. So when I was DJing her TV show, she always having special guests. And one day she had Tito Jackson as a guest. And I think that was the only time I ever felt like damn, I'm in a room with Tito Jackson. And because it was so much that was going in my mind, like Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, the movie, the music that they made, like different things was coming to mind, because I always watched them since I was literally a baby. I think everybody watched Jackson 5 since a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So me seeing Tito Jackson just made me think about so much. Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Janet Jackson. I was thinking of everything. That was the only person I ever felt like that way. I didn't like go crazy or nothing, but it did in my mind, like, damn, I'm in a room with Tito Jackson.
Right. Yeah. And you don't think about it that way, but that's true.
Yeah, Tito Jackson, Jackson 5 is crazy. That's the first time I felt that way.
Yeah. And so I can imagine you have a couple of mixes with a Michael Jackson name attached to it, because that's timeless music. No matter 50 years from now, people will still always be playing that.
Oh yeah. Michael Jackson is the only artist that every generation will always know forever. Every generation.
What is a song or one of the things that you often hear people asking for, even for last year? What was, I guess, your top 5? Because I know it's Sorry So Much. When you think about playlists, if you had to do a top 5 playlist song, what would that been for you for 2019 or 2020? That was last year.
I feel like 2019 was like a ratchet year.
Well, let's go about 2020. Let's do 2020. What was 2020 top 5 list for you?
And in 2020, there's a few artists that, Megan Thee Stallion was a huge success in 2020. I couldn't go to no party and do no event without playing a Megan Thee Stallion song. You know what I'm saying? But I really do have to talk about 2019 more, only because 2020 I didn't really do too many events because we was quarantined then.
Yeah.
So it's like the year flew by so quick, you don't even feel like it. But I didn't really DJ too much in 2020. But 2019, it was always like Megan Thee Stallion. It was always, obviously, Drake always is a go. And really that's about it. Look, I feel like there's a rapper named Lil Baby. You know, in 2019, everybody's asking me. I mean, still to this day, but in more in 2019, everybody's asking me for Lil Baby's music. You know what I'm saying? So I had to play him and Pop Smoke.
Yes.
R.I.P. to Pop Smoke. Yep. You know, we was one of the first people to hear Pop Smoke's first song, Welcome to the Party. So he had came and met with us at Hot 97 and played the song for us before it even came out. So yeah, we had Pop Smoke's song. Like I watched him literally from like, I don't want to say a nobody, but I watched him from no one knew who he was to everybody know who he was. Yep.
It didn't feel like it was a short span of time from the time you met him.
Super quick. It was like he came and met us in the studio. I mean, 187 and around like last year August time, and that was when right before Welcome to the Party dropped. That was his first biggest song, and literally I say by November, he was already like one of the biggest rappers, which is like super short. That's probably like what 3-4 months apart from each other. Yep. And you know, me watching him, you know, seeing how he was with no chains at first, to seeing now he got 1 million chains and stuff. You know, diamonds and all that. I seen him before he had all the diamonds and all that.
Right. But I also think that it helps when you have a supporter or someone with a name behind you. I mean, he had 50 behind him, right? Yeah. So that probably also helps to boost his visibility and people looking for him. I always think that's always a big part of, you know, if you had somebody being a champion saying, yo, he's hot. If you hear 50 saying something's hot, somebody's going to be like, oh, he is? Okay, well, he said it.
Having a cosign is always great. Some people, unfortunately, some people don't have cosigns, but if you blessed to get a cosign from somebody that's, you know, relevant or, you know, that's a great thing for you.
Yep. Yeah. We have another question here from Monique. She says, what was one of your most memorable experiences with your dad through the years in entertainment?
We had a lot. We still do stuff now that I always remember. I think one day we there's two things I can remember. The first time my dad used to have a station called Streets 96 with Race Entertainment. That's my uncle Race. Yep.
So I was a DJ there with him. Not a DJ, but on-air personality.
So when Race and my father had Streets, one day me and my dad went live and we did like a back-to-back DJing set. We both was scratching. So he played one song, I played one song. And we both had to flip quick. So we had like less than 5 seconds to play the song. So he'll play a song for like 3 seconds. I gotta be ready to play this song 2-3 seconds later. And we just going back and forth, but we was live on the radio at the same time. So that's one thing I won't forget. And another thing, we did so many shows and parties. My father always allowed me to come on his set at his shows. So like all that stuff, I never forget none of that stuff. Like even down to today, like his audience, obviously you guys know his audience. His audience is different from my audience. So my father, you know, I'm new to that audience. As much as I got a big audience from my generation, everyone knows me in the generation. They don't all know me inside that generation. So I'm like a newcomer inside the generation. So my father always allowed me to come on his set and DJ on the stage when he's doing his biggest shows and stuff. He'd let me come on and DJ for 10-15 minutes and rock the crowd.
That's great. And that's always good because it gains you that experience because, you know, at your age, people wouldn't think that you would be able to even go into the lane of Aretha's and all the other different generations and genres prior to a genres or generations of music that your father probably has under his umbrella where you probably teach him as well. So that's great. You probably can do that. Has he ever expressed interest in coming to do parties with you?
It's funny because we always talked about it, but we actually never got to it. Like we never, my father, because he always so busy with his own stuff. So like when I got my shows, I'm busy. So we just both just go this way. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
But when he has events, when he has his big shows and stuff, I make sure that I'm there for his sets to make sure his set go good, and then I probably have to leave again to go somewhere else.
That got me thinking of another idea. You guys should do a DJ versus.
That'd be hot. I think a lot of people watch that.
That'll be really fun just to see the pops and sons going against each other. That'll be something. I'm gonna start giving y'all all of my good ideas now.
We're gonna have y'all hosting.
You
heard me?
What you say?
Y'all hosting if we do it.
Okay, cool. Look, listen, and we have that on tape, so you can't take it back.
Exactly.
Have you ever thought about switching from being from the turntables and getting to the booth?
Like being an artist?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yeah either, because I never really thought to be an artist. But it's not something I can't see myself not doing, because it's so easy nowadays. Like, people putting out the craziest stuff. Just I know rappers literally that blow up, and I asked them when I interviewed them, I said, how long you been doing music for? They're like, oh, I started a month ago. And you like a month ago, you know what I'm saying? So it gives me the attitude to say, well, dang, if they only been rapping for a month and blew up, you know, I can't say it's impossible for me to do it one day.
Yeah, you come up with a catchy hook, and the rest is, you know, whatever.
That's it. Exactly.
Let me tell you, my daughter, she gets like 7 likes on her TikToks, and she thinks she is doing something. So
she be killing it though. She do be killing it.
Well, her little 7 likes.
Yeah, I've been watching her since she was born. Like, her dancing skills is crazy.
Yeah, she
done yet, that's for sure.
I want to mention Diane Pocket. She said that you're humble and she loves your personality.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Diane. Appreciate that.
And Lunix says you're dope and a humble person, even when you were a kid.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because Lunix, when she was just literally, I remember she had a Brown Boogie show. Actually, she had a few shows with us. So like, she had the morning show, she had the afternoon show. And some of the shows, I had the feeling, I forgot who was her DJ at the time, but there was a lot of times when I had the feeling for her DJ. And it was always funny, like, because I was super young at the time. But watching her, she always been like a great person. Her personality always been A1.
Yeah, she is.
Do you still get nervous when you go out to do and DJ, or is that something that you overcome?
Nah, I don't think I'm nervous no more. I feel like for a long time I was nervous though. I think I get more nervous when the crowd don't dance. But like literally, like, if the crowd don't dance, then I start getting anxiety.
Yeah,
because it's now
you're reading your crowd. You're like, what am I not doing right? Yeah,
right. And it's funny because I always tell people, like, I can't talk in front of 10 people, but I could talk in front of 10,000 people. So like, if it was like, if I had to go on the stage right now and talking like at Summer Jam, I could do that easily, like with no problem. But if I'm in a room and I'm in a classroom with like 5 people, can't do it. Like, I start getting anxiety.
Really? Wow. That's something. That is you know, because the energy from 10,000 people versus 10 is completely different. People just like intensely laser eyes staring at you. When you get 10,000, everybody's energy is up. So it's different completely. I can imagine that's definitely the case. No, I know that, you know, like I said, me being a DJ, when do you know to pull back from like engaging your crowd on talking versus, you know, because I've seen DJs like every song, they're like, yeah, and I'm sure, yeah, like, but you're not even hearing it. How do you know when to come in and out from when you're at a party and engaging a crowd?
Well, see, me, I'm not like someone that just talks all day in the mic. So what I do have like, I'm one of the people who still believe in letting the music speak for itself. So I'm like, I do have that, and also I talk. So what happens is, for me, I try not to talk over the best parts because everybody wants to sing that. What I do is I would turn the music down, let the crowd sing that part. And sometimes a lot of DJs, they feel like at the hot part, they supposed to sing the words on the mic, like they're an artist or something. And people don't realize crowds hate that. Like, they can't hear the DJ sing over their favorite part of the song. So another thing I do is tactics. Like, I'll read out, if I go to a party, before I get on, I look around, see whose birthday is it. So if I see like there's a birthday in the left side of the in the club or a party, whatever it is, I know I'm gonna stick on that group over there and show love to them. So if I hear the DJ before I get on say, "Where's all my Capricorns at?" And if I hear a lot of people scream for Capricorns, I know I'm a heart with that for the rest of the night.
Got it. Okay. And that's reading your crowd. That's a good element to know, because people don't, if you're getting into this, you don't understand the mentality behind reading your crowd. And that's one of the biggest things you got to know how to do.
Man, if you don't read the crowd, you gonna lose them. You gotta read the crowd before you get on.
Just walk around.
Yeah, so sometimes me personally, I love to be able to do it myself, to read the crowd, like myself physically. But sometimes if I can't go in the room before I'm time to get on the set, I have somebody that's with me that know how to read the crowd, read it for me, and they just text me like, "Oh, this crowd, they're not really a dancing crowd, or this crowd is a hype crowd. There's a lot of birthdays in here, or there's a lot of girls, a lot of dudes." They'll tell me what it is. So by the time I come out, I already know what format I'm gonna go to. I never go to a party to play a set of playlists that works for every event. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no format for me that ever worked at every single event I did. It's always something different. Every time I go to a party, I gotta start with a different song every single time.
That's good to know that, because you like you said, you think that there's these top songs everybody want to hear, and you realize no, you got to come in there in a different way, because somebody might have a birthday, or something's going on over here. So you're drawing them in just from that element, and knowing that. Well, that's great. Well, if like I said, we have this platform and want people to be able to see this and be inspired by your journey. If you had to tell someone who was at home, I know Serato's like one of the things that people used to do if they wanted to play around with it. What advice would you overall give someone who's looking to, get into doing this as a DJ, and then also from the producing side?
Well, one, it's always important to study your music or study whatever you're trying to go after. So if you trying to be a producer, you need to study the kind of music that you want to produce. So like if you want to make trap music, you need to listen to trap music and start being able to peep the different sounds, whether it's an 808, a clap. Start knowing the type of claps that trap music use. If it's a house song, start listening for certain bongos, because every genre of music has something that is a similar in mostly all the songs. You know what I'm saying? So you got to just listen and start learning different things. For me, I make Jersey club music. So a lot of times I would hear somebody else's song, like, because I feel like every 4 to 5 years, the club music game sound changes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not the same how it was 10, 12 years ago. Every 3, 4 years is a new generation. So the music always changes up. So I always have to get in tune with the new sound to keep me up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because if I stick with the stuff that I started off with, everybody gonna look at me as like either his music is whack or he's stuck back in the days. Yeah. So I always try to keep updated on the new sound. Now for DJing, I would tell a new upcoming DJ just to make sure you study your music. Know the difference from certain songs. Know 90s R&B. Know the 2000s R&B. You know what I'm saying? The new music is easy to learn. You can just play the top 40 Billboard music or whatever. That's easy. But I always say just learn older music, so you just know that. Once you know that, you can do really about any event you want to do.
Yeah, and that's so true, because that's how a lot of times people are able to merge or sample songs, because they are hearing stuff from 30 years ago.
Yep.
Just as well with music today. Well, It's been so great having you, and so glad that you were able to join us. And we're going to hold you to, like, at least I had 5 promises.
I got you.
But we thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your journey with us. And if anyone to our audience knows someone who has been an inspiration to you, or if you've inspired others, please make sure you email us at inspiredbyanonymous@gmail.com, or follow us on all things with social media. Inspired by Anonymous right here at the bottom of the screen if you can't see it. Well, we thank you, DJ Taj. We know there's so much more coming from you in your future. I see awards and all that kind of stuff. You running on stage, thanking God.
I want to come back on y'all show in a few months so we can talk down again.
Yes. Well, I'm serious about planning the showcase.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Come on, it's time. Let's plan it. Let's
do it. We can put it out there. We're gonna Kiana gonna make the flyer, and we're gonna have it next month for some kind of holiday. What's next month? Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. Oh, Valentine's. Yeah.
We can do something like that. We're gonna do a virtual showcase. DJ Charles said to y'all, so y'all better tell your friends who know a friend that's trying to get out there. Send your stuff in, because it got to be clean. We don't do no cursing. Right. And we're gonna have it, but we'll follow up. But no matter what, you have been such an inspiration. I know people have gained so much knowledge and so much insight from you, and your journey is just beginning, but we're glad you shared this part of it with us.
No problem. Anytime.
Nephew, I love you, and I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Oh, listen, I told y'all, first of all, we're going to plan the showcase, and I'm coming on the show to talk about another conversation like this.
Okay. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Right. Stay right here, Taj. Don't leave.
And again, everybody, if you are watching us and you have been inspired by this show and you know someone who's been inspiration in your life, please email us at inspiredbyanonymous@gmail.com. Kiana was rocking our Inspire shirts. We also have those available. So if you want to, get inspired just by wearing some gear, you can also get that. But until then, keep being an inspiration to others. Keep inspiring. Until then, we inspire together. I'm your host, Sha Hayes.